You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Williams, here to bring you some updates for the week ahead. Coming off of a lot of intense energy this past week. God, if there was any week that I wanted to be here to talk to y'all, it was the last week. And if you know me, you know that last week was a tower moment for my family, for my husband and I. We had our youngest daughter hospitalized for a very scary finding with her health. I appreciate if you know me personally and you're a listener, all the prayers and support. But anyways, how are you? How are you doing? I bet last week was hard for you too. I bet some things tried to take you down last week. And I am sending you the deepest, most grounding hug right now. There could have been lots of tears for us last week, definitely lots of tears for me. And that is just an opportunity for us to really work with these nodes, this South Node in Virgo, to release and let go of control, to step out of the future, step out of our future self's business, and to collaborate with Spirit and that North Node and all those energies, really asking us to trust, surrender, listen, witness, float, be, meditate, all the things. A lot of changes, a lot of things that we had to say goodbye to. We may have been surprised by some goodbyes we saw coming, but we can't take something with us to the next stage. And so some things could have broke our hearts and, that saying fixed our vision last week. But whatever it is, we just want to notice the emotions, notice the anxiety. We want to witness the tears and feel all the feelings and be with the uncertainty. Don't try to clean it away or work it away or exercise it away or drink it away. Just witness. This is a time where whether we're ready or not, there are some things that are going to happen that are going to change for us, but it is connected to the things we said we wanted. So Spirit and God and the divine is asking us to get out of our own way and to surrender, not to be in tomorrow's business, and to really understand that those are not your footprints in the sand. You are being carried into new possibilities, into new realities, into new connections and a way of existing. That old way is leaving and it's gone. So let's get into the week ahead. So on March 30th, Neptune has finally left the sign of Pisces and has entered into the sign of Aries. Neptune has been in Pisces for about 14 years now, which is the time span that Neptune will spend in a certain sign. And so this is a very significant life event because Neptune has not been in the sign of Aries for over 165 years. Some of the significations of Neptune being in Aries is a change in how we exist with our own ego. If Neptune is the planet of spirituality, dreams, and creativity and surrender and cosmic love, in the fiery sign of Aries, the go it alone, do it first, do it big, start something, start new things, be courageous, put yourself out there, be brave. We can conclude that Neptune into Aries is going to signify the emergence of a new way of leading, the emergence of the spiritual leader, the spiritual entrepreneur. Over the next 14 years, spiritual entrepreneurs are going to be lucrative. The ways that we work and the ways that we obtain success is going to change. We're going to start to see an alignment with mind, body, and spirit when it comes to what is successful. And I feel like a lot of us are already seeing those types of things. So when one of the outer planets changes into a different sign, this is really significant. This signifies not only a personal shift, this is a cosmic shift. This is a collective shift. Everybody's going to feel this ingress into Aries. Perhaps there is more of a spiritual walk, more of an inclination to tap into spiritual practices, endeavors, rejoining a certain faith, connecting with spiritually like-minded groups and individuals, really coming into a space of compassion and wanting to fight for others outside of ourselves. That's some of the significations of this Neptune entering Aries, just the courage to fight, to begin new things, to take the lead. So we're going to be seeing ourselves on a brand new journey in some capacity, in the Aries parts of our lives, wherever that is. So if that's in the first house, your own identity and the way people have access to you and the way that you treat and exist in your body and the way you ask the world to see you. If it's in the fourth house, it's going to be a new way of existing with family, home, and nurturing that and being creative and things like that. And anything that is tied to the old ways and the old structures of things are going to be crumbling down. Anything that we are trying to hold on to and attach ourselves to that is not meant to go forward will crumble, it will dismantle. And so some of those things are already happening. We've been having to say goodbye to certain relationships and things, and that has been hard, and that has, it could be grief filled, but there are going to be a lot of us coming into an awakening and just being in a higher state of consciousness. So we just want to pay attention to our intuition. This is a preview over, of what's to come over the next 14 years, because Neptune is going to go back into Pisces. And when Saturn goes into Aries, it's going to be even, another big deal. And then it's going to go back into Pisces. So this is like, dipping a toe in the water of what's to come. We want to pay attention to our intuition and understand that we're being guided by our instincts, and the old way of hustling to get the things that we want, and you know this competitive bro marketing, climbing up the ladder, those things are crumbling because we are in collaboration with spirit when that Neptune goes into Aries. Some of the themes that we saw in America the last time Neptune was at Aries were war type of situations. So on the shadow side, that Neptune in Aries can signify over idealizing people who we think are kings and cult like behavior. And so you want to beware of false prophets, because we could get involved with people who seem like they are just amazing and the real deal. And we want to watch out for putting people on pedestals. The moment you put a person on a pedestal, you are setting yourself up to be let down, because nobody is perfect and we should just all be, in connection with one another. Nobody's perfect. We want to watch out for over romanticizing people or situations. Some of us are going to have these projects and that we're going to be very confident about, and we want to just watch out for coveting that and missing out on some things, missing out on some mistakes, and or having rose-colored glasses about something. So then on April 3rd, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Venus is retrograde. So these are internal realizations about our relationships and our values. This could be some sort of course correction, or we could be just trying shit, won't work, trying shit, don't work. Still, trying to hold on to something that we know and we've been told that can't go with us. And now we're seeing how painful it is to kind of part ways with some people and some things. So this is, a reality check, a course correction. We have a lot of energy right now because we do have all of these Aries planets and energies happening simultaneously. So we have, maybe an urge to act and to go and to do the things. And we could want to do all of these projects. I know that's how I was feeling over the weekend, just had all of these ideas that could kind of have us feeling overwhelmed and out of sorts. And that's when it's probably time to disconnect, walk away, go for a walk, be in meditation, in whatever way that looks for you, and surrender the expectations of something being on time, perfect, just right, and allow yourself to collaborate with creative spirit and God and to let that process unfold. We're in a series of cycles and processes, especially with that Neptune and Aries energy. There is going to be a slower walk to this Aries season. And so what we have to also think about is there's just been so much shedding. There's so much shedding happening. There is people and behaviors and thoughts that can't go with us to the next phase. So once again, this is kind of reiterating that eclipse energy, which all the transits this week are connected to that eclipse energy. You'll see kind of like a repetitive theme. So with that, there could be a lot of goodbyes and a lot of releases that could involve grief and tears. We could also see some people spinning the block, trying to come back, old friends, old lovers, trying to circle the block, which is something that happens during a Venus in retrograde cycle. And with that North Node, we could see that, no, that's not where I want to go. I don't want to go back. I am traveling the path forward. And there's just some things that I've outgrown, and some things are just not meant for me. And so we want to have the courage to really stand on that and take a step into these on these paths that are really unknown and kind of dark, or shaded because we can't see what's behind around the corner, but we're being led cosmically and divinely to our paths. So, this Venus and North Node is giving us the ability to really walk that. With Venus being back in her exaltation, there is an increased sense of compassion. We could be holding space and being compassionate for others, or we could also, see the people who can't really hold space and be compassionate for us and allowing ourselves to do what we will with that information. Venus has just experienced her death and rebirth that we talked about a few weeks in, will also be in this conjunction with Saturn and Pisces. So we're going to see a shift in our values, letting something go. We're releasing these attachments. And these are not things that just came out of left field. These are things that Saturn, being in Pisces for the past 3 years, have been telling us, hey, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. You need to let this go. And it's like, all right, I know I need to do better. And it's just like, okay, and like that's that free will. We have a choice to do things that are good for us, but eventually you're going to come up against your limit, and you have been putting energy out into the world and the ethers. You have been praying to God for something, and you are not walking that talk to the something that you say you want. So Saturn is like, what's up? You said you wanted this. I'm about to make it happen. And whether you're ready or not, there are things that are taking place that feel like something's been snatched away from us and torn away from us. And some of these things are very, very painful. And, some of us could be feeling like, why is this happening? But here is where we get to say, what is happening? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to tell me? What have I not been taking 2 steps toward you with? And that's not to be in any kind of self-judgment or shame. It's just okay, I see. Dang, that hurt. Just like when you got to take your kids to the doctor, if you have them, or your pets, or yourself, and you have to get a shot. And it's just like, I don't want to hurt me or another person, but there's something that I need to endure for some type of wellness or reward on the other side of that pain. And I feel like that's what's happening with these transits this week and this eclipse, taking out and disconnecting us and detaching us from the things that are no longer in alignment. And we've been talking about alignment forever. Seems like it's all we talk about is what's not good for us, who's not good for us. But, those things come in layers. And that's why it's so good to witness and observe. So we want to witness our own choices and our own patterns, because a lot of the times we get to, we're always looking at what everybody else is doing. And this person did that to me, and that person, is a narcissist and all of the things. And yeah, may be true, but also, have we been existing within our own value systems in the way that we said we wanted to be treated and the way that we feel like we deserve to be treated? What is our accountability about that? That's what Saturn wants us to kind of tend to and take responsibility and take ownership of. How have we contributed to toxic experiences in our lives? Because only the solid will make it past this eclipse season. The solid relationships, the solid choices, the things that are going to set you up for the thing that you said you wanted is going to make it past a lot of these cycles of shedding. That old way of escaping won't work. You might be a person who is seeking comfort or running away from pain like me, and that didn't work. I was trying to buy things, and after the third thing, it didn't work. I was like, okay, I got to sit with it. The only way out of something sometimes is through it. And if we've been honoring our self-worth and our boundaries, we are witnessing our own shit, our own accountability from a place of compassion and love, never from a place of shame, because that South Node wants us to release perfection. Remember, nobody's perfect. Being perfect does not exist. On April 4th, we have Saturn in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus. Saturn is our planet of structures, and this is the planet that ensures that we are taking responsibility of our duties and priorities in life and really being about what we said we was going to be about. And this Saturn in Pisces is approaching its final degrees in the sign of Pisces. We are looking at our responsibilities. What are we responsible for? What are we supposed to be taking care of? And are we doing that? Uranus comes in to assist Saturn, Uranus is the great liberator. This is the planet who doesn't really go by the rules. They understand the rules, but they like to create their own rules. So Uranus brings sudden, surprising, and even chaotic changes to break us out of some kind of stagnation, to liberate us out of something. And Uranus is also in its final degrees of Taurus. And so this is potentially or has potentially brought some type of giant life disruption, something we thought was solid, something we thought we were doing responsibly, something we thought we were taking care of was not what it really seemed. It could have been attached to our egos, and it was not, in fact, being taken care of in the way that it was supposed to be, in the way that we thought we were taking care of something. Or we are participating in some type of relationship activity, thought process, decision that is rooted in a false sense of safety and security. So we're attached to something that can't go with us to the other side. And Saturn has been trying to tell us, hey, that is out of alignment. You still gonna rock with them. Okay. You're gonna stay. All right. You have free will. Many of us know that, and many of us we've been knowing that this thing is not good for us. We said we wanted to be on this health journey, but then this other situation keeps calling us, and here we are, kind of straddling the fence and really not making good on the things we say we wanted for ourselves. We're not honoring the health routine, the sleep routine, the underlying medical issues, and by some of us, I mean all of me, right? I've been buffering and autopiloting, and I've done my own year ahead astrology reading. So I knew that something was coming with my kids. I didn't know which one. I didn't know what. I thought, well, maybe it's going to be something like this or like that. And, I'm trying to clean something up. And the way that it showed up, even though I was expecting something to show up, I had no idea it was going to hit me in the way that it did. And it knocked me and my family off of our foundation and knocked us off our feet. And so this is a situation where we have no idea how real shit can get for us if we don't honor the intuitive nudges. But this is a sextile, so it's helpful. It's time for a change. And we've been knowing that. And so this eclipse season could have brought us in or out of something faster than we felt like we were ready for, causing us to feel some kind of shakeup in the Pisces or Taurus areas of our lives. We could have contended with some kind of consequence for an addictive behavior or some kind of habit, real consequences that showed up for us in these areas of life, or just not having boundaries, just, seeing what happens when you don't honor your own boundaries. And, there's consequences that arise from that. Uh, and that could be very painful and uncomfortable for us right now, but it is connected to something greater that's good for us, that is nudging us, and something that we know we've been needing to pay more attention to and to handle and take care of. And this thing just can't be ignored any longer. So that particular tower event could have us reconnecting to something spiritual, some spiritual practices, really revamping and reprioritize the way we take care of our commitments and the way that we take care of ourselves. Because a lot of times, like my aunt told me, if you're not taking care of things around you, it's because you're not taking care of yourself, because it always starts with the self. And, Saturn's not playing with us. Uranus is not playing with us. All these Pisces and Aries energies, they not playing with us. We know now. We know now. Leave me send me a comment if you're like, girl, I didn't know what I thought I knew, but I know now. And that is just really here to liberate us. So also this week, Uranus is going to go on into a sextile with Mars and Cancer. And Uranus is really just coming, Uranus ain't trying to be the bad guy. He's just really shaking up the spot. So this is like that earthquake energy. So I think was that last week where we had an earthquake, because that Uranus energy can show up a week in advance. This is shaking up the foundation. It's in Taurus. It's shaking up the ground from beneath us. It is uprooting us out of some kind of stagnation, some kind of rut, some kind of stuckness, some kind of comfort zone. So this could be in our home lives. It could be with our resources, our bodies. But Mars in Cancer is all about protecting something or fighting for something. So this is that mama bear energy. And Cancer has everything to do with our children and our family and our property and our homes. Or this could be social injustice for children or mothers, for women. All of these or Cancer-like themes. And there could be something significant that may have happened in the past couple of weeks that has ignited some type of fight inside of us, some kind of event personally that really took us down. Something took us down, something shook us to our core. Something could have happened and it motivated us to, really step out of our own ways and to step out of the box, to step out of our comfort zones and to fight fiercely to protect something or someone. Like I said last week, Uranus was like, I'm coming a day early for your ass because it shook me to my core. It shook me. I never felt like that before. I never felt the way I felt last week. That was very new for me. There was a lot of release, a lot of surrender, a lot of trust, and there still is. It's still an ongoing journey. And like I said, I did my own reading, so I knew that there was going to be something in my personal home, family, children, creative projects, because that's where my Aries and Pisces is. But baby, when that Uranus hit, it brings you to your knees. You think you be ready, you have the information, but you don't be ready. Yeah, but Uranus has to do what it has to do because if it don't, we won't budge. I know I won't. Not with my Taurus moon. I ain't moving. I'm gonna conserve my energy and stay right here. So Uranus is like, all right, I gotta set some shit on fire because you would never move. And this is the cosmic language of God. So when I talk about the planets that symbolize things, I'm also speaking about God. God has to move you. God will move you out of the way, out of your own way. And sometimes that movement is going to feel tragic and painful. But when you know that there is always a purpose underneath and you're doing that soul work and that witnessing, you know that there's always a what. And this is when it's time to get quiet and it's time to reconnect with spirit because there's a what taking place underneath all of these changes that we could be going through. So right now we are witnessing a primal instinct to fight. There's a mama bear riling up inside of us about something. Uranus had to tear something down so that we could have this new sense of freedom and self-care. And something is going to be better than we ever thought it was going to be. We just didn't know that we were on autopilot the way we were in some instances. But man, you're about to see some things really shift and shake in your life. And let me tell you something, this tunnel that you're in, baby, it's not going to last forever because when you come out on the other side, it's gonna be bright and sunny and birds chirping. And I'm not trying to toxic positivity you up. I've been looking at the year ahead, so I know that there's some great things coming. But also there's some crazy shit coming too collectively. There is that Neptune and Aries energy is very warlike. There are people who, some of the significations of that Neptune and Aries energy is war loving. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some talks about that on the table because the last time Neptune was in Aries, we had our revolutions all over the world and the Civil War and all kind of stuff, girl, all kind of stuff. So, anyways, on April 5th, Mars is going to trine Saturn in Pisces, and it's going to really give us that follow through to put in effect these life changes that Uranus came and knocked us upside the head with, giving us the energy and the motivation to reprioritize our responsibilities and to find these more efficient and effective ways to get things done. So, once again, this is iterating. There's a wake up call that is happening and that has happening. This is a health scare, come to Jesus moment. An accident of some type that really brought us out of our autopilot. I need you to wake up. God said, I need you to wake up. Come on, you're letting this thing slide, and you said you wanted to do this, and it's time to wake up, and it's time to do what I've been telling you and that you know you need to do. And so, if we've been observing and witnessing ourselves, like the astrology has been suggesting over the past several weeks and months, we may have even discovered that there are some cycles that are linked to the way we've been thinking and existing and behaving, because that Cancer energy is all about home and family and lineage and the past and heritage and mothers and, bloodlines and all the things. So, things like that could be coming up. We could be really hearing about things we haven't heard about before. We could be hearing about things in our family, inherited illnesses and stuff like that. And this can also pertain to something that was conditioned in childhood is starting to really take a front seat in our lives. Now we're being confronted and coming face to face with this is a pattern and a cycle. And I am here and I get to choose to repeat or I get to choose something different. Finally, this Saturday on April 5th, we have the Sun in Aries making a sextile to Jupiter in Gemini. I really like this transit. This transit is fun. It's really childlike and free spirited. God, don't we need some new energy just to come in and just like, even if it's for a weekend or day, just put a breeze in our lives, God. And so this can be a wonderful day to be with friends and get outside, and we can really see things falling into place. Some of these things that felt so sticky and hurtful we're starting to see that with a new perspective. Like, man, I'm starting to see why this had to happen. And you know what? I didn't really like the fact that it had to happen, but now I'm glad it did. And for some of us, that is not going to be the case. So um, eclipses also bring endings. Some of our family members have transitioned during an eclipse season. A solar eclipse often indicates the death of a solar figure, like a father figure or an authority figure. And so this does not pertain to that type of ending or, redirection. That is another form of grief on its own. And my condolences to anybody listening who has just lost a family member or a friend. I'm sending you so much love right now because I've heard of a few family members that transitioned the day before the eclipse on the 29th. So, yeah, I just want to send that and say that I'm not ever trying to like toxic positivity or faith you all the way, when you are in a loss. And even people who haven't just having tower moments like me, I'm never gonna tell you to just have the faith because I'm going to tell you to have faith, but there is also a human aspect to you that needs to witness and sit, and all your feelings are welcome. And so yeah, we're going to have a good day on Saturday. I'm going to set that intention that Saturday is going to be good for us. Good vibes, fun people who you can be yourself around, just really being in sync, good collaborations. And that is all I have for this week. I just want to say another quick word that we are very much still in this eclipse energy. We are in a cycle and a process of shedding, and that has to do with people and decisions and passions. Things are being revised and revamped. There are some things that we thought we were going to be doing that we are not doing anymore. That's not the way. We realized that the reason why it wasn't working is because it wasn't aligned, and we want to trust that. We want to let something go and trust the new path that we're going to be led on in the next um, several years, the next several months, and just understand that there are major changes happening that can feel really, really hard right now. And some of this is just so, so hard, and you are so brave. I'm so proud of you. And I hope you can find someone to personally hold space for you while you sit with all of these emotions that want to come up. And I hope you let all of them come up. I hope you have the courage to sit with yourself and witness and listen to what wants to come up, all of your feelings and emotions, because I'm a firm believer in giving yourself what you are expecting from others first. And then have other people just come and join the reparenting party with you. I mean, because it takes a village to raise a child, including an inner child. And if you ever want to reach out to me, I'm going to leave my information in the comments. You can just send me an email. You can message me on Instagram. There's voice notes, and I love voice notes. You can voice message me, and you can just, you can put it in there, and I'm going to definitely get back to you. And I'll respond to anyone's message who wants to talk and who wants someone to hold space for them. And I hope you all have a good week, and I hope you can find some kind of peace this week and just give yourself a really big hug because you're doing so good. So let's keep praying for each other, supporting each other, and really loving each other. And I will talk to you next Monday, and I love you. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.